Hello YouTube, this is TheCreativeDuelist here, and today I have a real life duel. I'm playing Burning Abyss, and my friend Mark here is playing Vendread. Now, if you folks enjoyed this video and you want to see the deck profiles of both decks, please, get this video to 10 likes. I shall showcase my BAs, and if we can get this to 15, I'll showcase the Vendread's Mark's deck profile. But anyway, let's get started. Mark starts off first. He dumps the Mizuki to increase the level of the Uni Zombie, and I think he goes for a link play, and then brings out the Vampire Sucker. Now I just needed to check the card's effect, I think, just to double check what it did. I think if you bring something out on the field, you get to draw a card or something like that. So I go ahead, I special summon the Calcab, and then I go ahead to normal summon the Scarm to go for a Dante play in a sec, because fortunately I do open up the Foolish Burial. I ditch the Graph to bring out the Seer to get this little combo going. So now, obviously, I go for, the infamous bread and butter combo, to bring out 2 BAs or, whatever, to bring out the Dante. So I activate the effect to excavate. I excavate absolute, bollocks. I was very annoyed about the excavations. But anyway, I proceed to battle phase, and I run over the Vampire Sucker, and I attack with the Calcab. So then I pass turn. Oh, sorry, I don't pass turn just yet, my bad. I go for a link play. I go for my combo to bring out the Underclock Taker, to then bring out the Dante, to then activate Dante's effect, in the chain links to grab a BA. And of course, as you can see there, I'm just trying to divil-davil, trying to think of what to add. And it pretty much doesn't matter what I add at this point, in a sense. So I pretty much dump, I think, my second Scarm in my hand. I think that's a Scarm, to bring up to slap the Beatrice on top. I set a back row, and then end phase I trigger the Scarm to grab the Tour Guide for next turn. So then I obviously ask him to cut my deck, and then I pass turn and he draws. And he goes for the Uni Zombie to of course dump a Mizuki to the graveyard. So now, I think at this point he's thinking, how am I supposed to out this Beatrice? Because if he destroys my Beatrice, and by any means I get to bring out the fusion, the purple Dante, as I like to call it. So again, I'll just end up floating, and of course I will also chain Beatrice effect to, my initially dump Farfa to banish whatever he, tries to do. So then he uses a Mizuki to bring out the Sucker to go for a cheeky link play. He brings out the Nightmare Unicorn. I'm just like, no. It's met with a solemn warning, because his idea was to spin back my Beatrice. So I draw for my turn. I switch Beatrice to attack. I bring out the Tour Guide, pretty much overwhelm him. Then I bring out the Rhino Warrior, and pretty much he concedes this first round. I pretty much clobber him, so he scoops. Victory for me. So yes, pretty easy. So anyway, I go into game 2. So for game 2, he lets me go first. I open up absolute garbage. I had no resources, but anyway, I bring out the Rhino, bring out the Libic, and I think that's is that a Scarm? I think that's a Scarm, to bring out, of course, the Dante. Because the issue is with BAs, if you just open BAs in hand, it's not good, because you've got no back row to protect you. I was hoping to draw at least like a Desires, or Torrential Tribute, or some strikes and warnings, or a warning or a Judgment, but unfortunately, I don't think that was the case. I think I did get a warning in hand. I'm not sure what I got, but again, I wanted, you know, different cards. So anyway, he opens the nuts with with the uni zombie, again, pretty much dumping what he needs to, to the grave and whatnot. Again, he activates the ritual spell, to banish, to bring out the Slayer. So he's going to trigger the Shirinuis. One of them is going to blow up my Dante, and one of them is going to tutor out the, I think it's called the Spirit Master of the Sword. I can't remember its name. So now I activate the Dante's effect to grab back a BA. He goes for a link play, brings out the sucker, and it's met with a strike because I don't want him to, go for anything else. And then of course he does get the effect of the Slayer, the Vendread Slayer, to grab a ritual spell. I think he gets to dump a Vendread to the graveyard as well, or just any zombie. I'm not 100% sure. Again, I lack the knowledge of Vendreads. I don't know all the effects off by heart. But yes, I think he dumps the core because of Slayer. So now he activates the effect of Uni to dump the Howl Horde to increase Uni's level. Use the Howl Horde's effect to dump the Stygius from hand to bring out the Howl Horde. Use Stygius, reveal the a Vendread card, bring out Stygius. So now he's thinking of going for a synchro play, I believe. Yeah, he synchros and brings out the Omega. Now, this is where things kind of go downhill for me. So he goes ahead, uses the core to bring out. Obviously, he brings out the core. He uses the spell pretty much. Ascends the core, ditches the Chimera from the deck to bring out the Slayer. That spell is so good. It's basically like a ritual spell, but it's like an advanced ritual art for Vendreads. But anyway, he smacks over my Rhino. I use Rhino to dump the Graph to bring out the Seer. And of course, he passed his turn, which was pretty odd. So I draw for my turn, and again, things still aren't looking good. I've just got nothing but BAs in hand. I apologise if you can't see my hand very well. It's just I thought the camera was picking it up, and of course I didn't want Mark seeing my hand, of course. So yes, I'm just like, you know what, I need to make a defensive play. So I thought, you know what, he can't run over anything. I'll just make a wall. I'll normal summon my Farphone and just make Zen mains, because there was no point making Dante, because Dante's not strong enough to run over any of them. Plus, if I tried to attempt to run over the Slayer, he would just use Slayer's effect to get rid of a zombie to buff its own attack, and I might try to scoop there if that was the case. But anyway, he uses the Omega to banish one of my BAs in hand, and of course he brings it back on the field. So now again, he's just thinking of how to out my Zen mains without having to need to commence battle phase to run over it. He normal summons one of the the Vendread effect monsters, uses the ritual spell. The ritual spell is so great. He sends off the Vendread monster and banishes the Uni zombie to bring out the Chimera, and of course it's pretty much a wrap. Chimera effect banish to get rid of my Zen mains. I do get the Farfa and the Seer, but it's pretty inevitable. Again, I'm just deciding what to banish at this point, so I go ahead and just get rid of the Chimera, because there's no point getting rid of Omega, because Omega is pretty much just going to keep coming back. But anyway, I do bring out the Graph because of the Seer, just to kind of stall. and he goes for a link play to bring out another vampire sucker. I'm just like, oh god. And of course he gets the effect of Slayer. I think to grab Vendread, I think it's a Vendread Rituals Bound, and dump Vendread monster. So he dumps the Battle Lord. I think the Battle Lord is basically like a master, shock master in the flesh. So yes, pretty much everything just goes downhill for me. He goes, brings the Battle Lord, of course, Spirit, Battle Lord, banish, declare monster. I can't activate any effects the turn, whatever he declares. So yes, pretty much screwed at this point. I can't activate my Graph's effect. I've got nothing. I've got just nothing to protect me in this situation. So I absolutely get slaughtered and I concede this duel. So yes, Mark wins this this round, and I'm pretty much gonna go into game 3. So I believe I go first, I think. Yeah, I go first. I bring out the, I think I bring out the Rhino Warrior, and then of course I was very reluctant to bring out the Skarm because I want the search overlay to make the Farther into Dante. Now this is where everything just, I throw away everything because I misplay like an idiot. Again, trash mills, and he was just taunting me like, haha. I was supposed, I should have sent the graph, but I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. I had like a massive brain fart at this point. I ended up sending the Libic, which I shouldn't have sent. So at this point in time, after I send the Limbic, of course, I bring out the Skarm. I bring out the Underclock Taker, and pretty much at that point I realise like, oh my god, I've misplayed. And Mark even notices as well. He's just like, Kamal, you messed up your own combo, what are you doing? And I'm just like, oh, you know what, Mark, I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna see how this match goes. I'm gonna see if I can make a comeback. I believe I set a back row, and then end phase I triggered the Skarm, so I can go ahead and get the search for the tour guide. And of course he draws for his turn, and he goes into Solitaire, of course, the Lone Fire, and then brings out the Uni. And then it's met with a Veiler, because I'm just like, yeah, I'm not letting you go ahead and bring out the Mizuki to just go and make more bullshit for me. So I Veiler it, and I'm just like hoping he bricked, and unfortunately he did not brick, because now I think he goes ahead to bring out one of the ritual monsters. He activates the spell card, and I'm just like, great. Oh dear, I was hoping, praying that he didn't have it, but unfortunately he did. So he banishes the Solitaire, and I can't remember what else he sends off, but he brings out the Chimera, and I'm just like, great. What else should I do at this point? So now he's looking at my grave, and I'm just like, yeah, he has the Reborn. It's just obvious. So then he brings back the Rhino. I think he synchro summons, and of course I do get the Rhino effect to dump. And I think at this point I dump, I think I make a misplay. I end up dumping the Farther. To be honest with you folks, I think I'm not 100% sure. Either I think I misplayed, didn't dump the graph, or ended up drawing in the graph, and I didn't do the play properly. Because if you draw graph, then you can't do the combo, because you'll have to like give up your normal, and obviously that's really bad. But at this point I misplayed anyway, so I draw for turn, I don't think I have the graph in hand. I think I draw a Soul Charge. So then I bring out, I think I don't know if I special. I bring out the Libic to make a Dante, and I detach the Farther to excavate 3, and then of course I do get the Seer, which is kind of nice to bring out the Scarm. Of course I do trigger the Farther. This is where I misplay yet again. I end up getting rid of the wrong one. I should have targeted the Chimera. I ended up getting rid of the Charge Warrior, which was a bad misplay, because now I freed up his zone. So now he's got a Charge Warrior, and now he can make a link play, which is like uber bad for me, because now I've basically just sealed the deal. So now, of course, heart the cards, hashtag BS. He opens the pre-prep, gets a free search, brings out the Slayer. He does trigger the Chimera, because the Chimera was banished. He gets to reduce my monsters' attack and defense by 500. So I'm just like, great, now all my monsters are literally just Play-Doh. They can get run over by anything. He just bring out the Sucker, and to trigger the Slayer, so he will get the Slayer, of course. And also to speed things up, he reveals the spell to bring out the Styges, and then of course dumps the Battle Lord. And it's pretty much, I think this is a deja vu. I think he brings out the Battle Lord yet again. So I'm just like, yeah. It's kind of GG no re. So yeah, he pretty much does all the the same play he did last turn. So yeah, pretty much done. He banishes, declares monster. I can't activate monster effects this turn. I absolutely get slaughtered this turn. There was nothing I could do. But yes, anyway, thank you folks for watching. If you folks enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, comment down below. Feedback is always nice to hear. Did you enjoy my commentary? Did you enjoy my live duel? I haven't done this in a while. I haven't done it at all because I couldn't find a suitable combatant to play with and record with me. But yes, remember, 10 likes, BA.profile 15, I'll give you the Vendreads. So yes folks, this is the Creative Duelist signing off, and I shall see you in my next video. Take care, stay creative, and of course, have a good day. See you next time.